I've just absolutely loved working on this project. I think it's one of the best projects I've ever worked on, to be honest.
I said it's about education, but it's not about education. It's about bringing the kids together.
One of the things it's very easy to find is negativity. Do you know what I mean? There's a contagion of negativity. The figures from the 2016 the census kind of demonstrated that in Enniscorthy you had a very big cohort of people with primary education only. And historically, I suppose, Enniscorthy would have had a lot of seasonal employment. Even amongst educators, there'd be a certain view of certain sections of the population, and they'd be kind of, well, that's for them. They can do the seasonal labour kind of. Whereas I suppose our view is that education's for everybody to get the most out of it that they can.
Education back in our day, it was a lot tougher. Teachers were tougher. You weren't pushed as much. If you didn't get to their expectations, you were kind of just left to one side.
There's no like aspiration, there's no inspiring people around, role models, for the kids to see, oh, look at this, I can be like this person, And we try, I suppose, in our school is to give kids role models, bring in people from the local area who have done well.
Diarmuid took inspiration from Challenger, an educational programme on Dublin's north side, and this set the Elevate project in motion.
The North Side Partnership were doing it, and they had been doing it for, I think, the late 90s. And like that, it was kids would come onto the programme in sixth class of primary school, and they'd stay there until their education in second level had finished. So that was interesting to have something that had that level of longevity, because in our sector, you'd be sick of pilot projects. We don't want to say to kids in Enniscorthy, you should be going to college. It was more kind of saying to them, what do you think of education? How important is it to you? Is it something that like you can actually get something out of, that you can get some sense of achievement and that can take you somewhere that you want to go to?
I think, and this is going back to Enniscorthy again, but I noticed that this town has a very unique attitude to creativity. And I've met people older generations and younger, but they seem to just like really thrive in when you give them something creative to work on in Enniscorthy for some reason. When Diarmuid contacted me initially, he was really excited about this new programme that was being set up called Elevate. And he told me that it was going to be, for children based in Enniscorthy, that they'd start in sixth class and continue through their secondary education. Now, I've worked on lots of arts and education programmes in the past, but this seems so unique to me to think that children would not just, it just wouldn't just be for a few weeks. They'd be starting in sixth class and going all the way through till they were adults, really, young adults anyway. And I just thought, wow, I want to be involved in that. That's an amazing project. And he said to me he'd like me to do some creative writing with them, and and I've just absolutely loved working on this project. I think it's one of the best projects I've ever worked on, to be honest.
Elevate works in collaboration with the local library, helping to foster a role for education outside of the school system.
For us, working with Elevate, WLD, it's just been it's been brilliant, because we're getting children that wouldn't have come into the library perhaps unless they were with the school group, but now they're coming in, they're taking part in a project. It's taken part over a number of years, so these children are coming back again and again and again, and they're growing with the library. And their parents are coming into the library as well then to collect them, to drop them off. They're seeing what's happening. You notice after the first couple of weeks, the parents are probably sitting down, they might be flicking through a newspaper. They're starting to relax into the building as well and sort of feel, yeah, I can come in here, I'm entitled to come in here, this is a nice space. So, and that'll bleed back into the community, because they'll tell their neighbours, they'll tell their friends, they'll tell their families, and hopefully that will, encourage usage of the library.
Gabriel starts Elevate around 2 years ago, and we could see day after day, step by step, and his social skills improving, because Gabriel is very quiet. He didn't have so many friends, or he wasn't able for new friendship, but since he starts in the program, he's fine.
I was lucky, I suppose, in the sense that the two primary schools that feed into the program, St Aidan's and St Senan's, the homeschool community liaison in both of them schools, they've always been really kind of supportive of the program, because that's the kind of roots of it. Do you know, that's where it begins, is in the primary school.
Diarmuid explained to me how the Elevate system works, and Diarmuid comes into the school and he talks to the 5th class pupils round about this time. And myself and Diarmuid speak to all the 5th classes and we explain the programme, how to apply, because the children need to apply and the parents need to apply. And then myself and Diarmuid sit down together and we score. But we find it's a very worthwhile project. It is all about really showing the children what they can achieve. The importance of education, not in the old-fashioned sense of the word, I suppose, but also that it is good for their well-being.
When they first start, they're also kind of shy. So say if you come from, say, the kids from St. Senan's and St. Aidan's, they might be mixed up and they might not know each other when they first start. So it's the initial kind of all getting to know each other. But I found that the confidence that the amount of confidence they build during the course of the Elevate programme is hard to kind of quantify it, because these children come in and they don't know many people, they don't know what the programme's about really, they're just seeing if they like it, and then they take ownership of it and they're very, very proud to be part of Elevate. And they look after each other and they develop friendships. Because sometimes I don't know, I might get mixed up and I say, are you two in school together? And they go, oh no, we've never met before Elevate. And they're so close as friends that you think they've known each other forever. It's great to see.
Caroline has a calming influence, I suppose, on them, because they can be quite giddy when they come in from school. And Caroline will come in, and now she's no way teacher-like. I mean, she's absolutely wonderfully calm and and encouraging to them, but they immediately just respond to her and they crack on with their work, and they still have chatter and but it just works really, really well. And when she walks in, she just changes the whole atmosphere of the room.
The SICAP programme provided key funding to get Elevate up and running.
One of the things within SICAP is you're trying to kind of mitigate against educational disadvantage. Both of our kind of feeder schools, if you like, they're both DESH schools for a reason. But with that comes opportunities as well. And SICAP, I suppose, gave us, from a purely practical perspective as well, it gave us the funding for the first couple of years. But the ethos of SICAP is kind of imprinted in the programme as well, because it is about creating opportunities for people to kind of, I hate to use a kind of American sounding thing, but be that best person they can be, do you know what I mean? But it sounds really trite and all the rest of it, but it is about that. It is about saying, look, I don't have to be the best student in the class, right? But I can develop as a person, do you know? And I can have a positive experience in this program.
I don't really know how to explain it. It's just like being creative and then like putting it down and then someone else reading and they were like, wow, that's nice. And I just like that. The atmosphere in general, there's no like, the person who's looking after you is not really gonna like be mad at you for just having a quiet conversation or something, and then like you're not in school obviously. Yeah, and that's basically it. You can just talk to other people without really being worried.
While the library is one important hub, the Astro Active Centre is home to activities from team building to drama and art, all done in the heart of the community.
So from the get-go, we're kind of saying, do you enjoy learning? Is education something that you feel positive about? And then we're saying that what the programme does is it'll give you experiences, not just this year, but all the way through second level. The steering committee were kind of quite clear that the experiences or the activities should be more arts orientated rather than kind of academic orientated, which was kind of gave you a lot of freedom, gave you a lot of latitude as well in terms of the type of activities that we could put on.
For me, it's like in the rowing, I enjoy having to laugh and messing around and like getting that air and just something different than what we usually do or what I'd say be used to. And then in creative writing, it's like, it's sort of just fun to turn back to books and reading and stuff like that. So I like a mix of things I don't do and things I'm used to.
You don't want them being doing stuff 24/7. So it was built into the design, do you know, that you have a block. And it's not an intense block, like you're talking a couple hours a week for 6 weeks, do you know, or an hour a week for 6 weeks, right? So there's not an intensity to it.
right now there's only 2 weeks left of the art thing we're doing, and I'm like, I don't want to like lose an hour of my you know, just normal day, because I already have school. So then just like a few weeks without having to come here is like, but then I also like it. It's just that like I don't want to be spending all like a bunch of hours here.
The first group of 25 sixth class students joined Elevate in 2021, and there are now 75 young people involved across 3 year groups. Elevate is changing the narrative of educational disadvantage in Enniscorthy and is letting the town showcase the potential and creativity that is there in abundance.
I think navigating the kind of teenage years in particular isn't an easy task, you know. There's so many things going on internally and externally, but this is something that can provide those experiences, as you were saying earlier. Once you've done something, it's over, it's finished and what have you. But the memory can always be there as something that kind of keeps you going. Like you say, it could be 6 years later, 5 years later. Do you know?
Well, I think this programme is actually life-changing. I know it's life-changing because I see the results of it. I see these young people coming in with very little confidence sometimes and growing and actually doing far more than they ever believed they could themselves. And it's not just the children, you're kind of, because they're part of this town, they're part of County Wexford, they're part of the community. So if we enable them and teach them, they'll be the adults of the future. So you really are investing in the future of the town and the county, and you know this is the important work, you know. And I think that we could never quantify just how important a program like Elevate is, because it is changing lives, and to see these children become young adults and actually to have the confidence that they may never have achieved other than doing Elevate is quite astonishing, really.